Hello, good afternoon. Coming up on the marketplace, NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama promises far-reaching reforms to create good businesses operating environment for entrepreneurs. Also, Ghanaian business community in the U.S. on the edge as they weigh in on the implications of the U.S. elections on remittances and trade activity. And later on, the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, has stated that there's been a final agreement on the rules of origin regarding the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. We have details on all these and more coming up shortly after this break. Hello once again. Now, government says that, of course, the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, has stated that there has been much more agreement regarding the Continental Free Trade Agreement area when it comes to the rules of origin. We have known that this particular area of the Continental Free Trade Agreement has generated so much discussions among member states. But speaking to Joy Business at the commissioning of a factory under the 1D1F project, Alan Tremantin stated that all processes have been exhausted so far.
With consolidating the rules of origin negotiations. In terms of the percentage coverage, I would say that already we have consensus for over 80% of the tariff lines. But because trading is supposed to commence on the 1st of January 2021, we are working very hard, that's between the state parties, working very hard so that we can conclude all the negotiations on the rules of origin before the start of trading. But in the event that we are unable even to conclude the negotiations on all the tariff lines, based on the provisions of the AFCFTA agreement, you can still start trading in the products for which rules of origin have been completed. So it will not necessarily preclude us from the start of trading. And also we've gone very far with our negotiations on tariff offers. So each country or customs union has to be able to designate the products that they will trade freely in, the products that are designated as sensitive products, which means that there's restricted entry, and then there's also products that are put on the exclusive list, which means that those will not be available to be traded. So we've gone quite far with our preparations for the start of trading, and as a country, we've already organized 2 sensitization workshops to get stakeholders to understand the conditions and what they need to do to be prepared for the CFTA start of trading.
Thank you very much. Now, the Ghanaian and African business community in the United States is on the edge as they balance the implications of the unprecedented election between President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden. My colleague Sandra Esinamafeno is in the U.S. state of Indiana and has been speaking to one such shop owner on the implications on her business.
Americans are voting to elect their next president, but it's not only about America. The world is watching keenly for the outcome of the U.S. election. Will it be re-election of President Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Whatever the situation in Africans in America are watching keenly for that outcome. What would a re-election of Trump mean for immigration issues and trade when it comes to Africa? And an election of Biden, what would that also mean? We're here at an African store at Indianapolis in Indiana to find out from Africans what they make of the U.S. elections and who they are rooting for.
Honestly, I feel like he has a point. Do we really want a president who's telling people to inject themselves with bleach? I feel like he doesn't take the country's issues as serious as he should. You know, being young and black in America, there's so many more challenges. I feel like we need someone who can actually relate to us and not someone who sees us from like a lesser view. than him.
From your perspective, somebody who operates, who has a business in America, what would a re-election of Trump mean for your business, and an election for Biden, what would that mean for your business?
Honestly, a re-election from Trump, with the way things are going with, minority businesses, mainly black businesses, it's not looking good for us. We have friends who have businesses they have to close because no type of income. I feel like he's really failing us.
Is it about tax issues, or it's about, when you're bringing in the goods from Africa?
Mainly tax issues, even bringing stuff in from Africa. It's so hard and it's so expensive because you guys know it's stuff that we need from our home, but you guys are making it so difficult for us to have access to it. It's not fair, but you guys want us to support you.
Another key issue for many Africans has to do with immigration issues.
Exactly.
So far, we don't have any proper plan from Trump as to how he's going to deal with immigration issues. But Biden is actually promising the DREAM Act that will have to deal with the issues. So what will the outcome also impact on the immigration issues in Africa?
Honestly, with Biden wanting to bring back the DREAM Act, it's actually going to help a lot of people. Like for me, it actually helped me out, and I know a lot of other people it can also help. With Trump getting rid of it, he caused a lot of fear in millions of us. He caused a lot of questions to be asked because some people can't go back to their country. What is there to go back to? And again, some people have to seek asylums to come here as refuge. So you're just gonna kick them all out? Like, yes, Biden is promising this, but for me, is he really gonna hold off to it? Like, are we getting the same repetitive stuff?
What are your fears? Clearly,
Trump being president again.
Also, clearly, we are dealing with a pandemic,
of
right?
Course.
And a lot of people are doing mail-in voting, and then also the absentee voting. So we might not have the results by close of day. But Trump is saying that he will have to declare the elections by close of day. As a business owner, do you feel secure, security-wise? What do you think with such pronouncements?
What security? What security from him? That's my main thing. Like, okay, he's like, for me and Trump, it's just all talk until we actually.
For once, do you think that America is going to be thrown into chaos if he does that?
Absolutely. It's already in chaos. What is he gonna add? At this point, anything he throws at us, we're not really surprised.
I'm sure you'll be disappointed if he wins.
What can I do? I'll go home and cry. Well, up to us to make sure he's not reelected, but.
Especially Ghanaians and Nigerians have been coming in here and I've been trying to talk to them to ask them what they make of the US election as, and then also re-election of Trump and election of Biden, which way they want it to go and what does it mean to them. It's been difficult getting a single person to talk to, but key to them has to do with immigration issues. Some tell me that they are still fighting for their immigration papers. The economy and taxes are issues that they're having to do with. Some have already voted, they told me, and others don't have the right to vote because they are not citizens yet. But it's a big concern to so many people. Immigration issues for Africans in America, it's a big deal, and Trump is a no-no for them when it comes to these elections. I'm Sandra and I'm reporting for Joy Business here at Indianapolis in the United States.
And back home, a cerebral palsy patient, Samuel Akwa, makes a living by operating a poultry farm of about 1,053 birds. Now, for today's episode of Food Chain, we meet Sammy, who has been practicing poultry farming for 10 years now.
This is Samuel Akwa, a 28-year-old energetic man who goes about his daily chores with ease. From afar, one cannot tell his health condition. Yes, Sammy, as he is affectionately called, has speech impairment because he was diagnosed of cerebral palsy. The disease is caused by brain injury that occurs during pregnancy or at birth, which often result in permanent movement of parts of the body and disorders. Before we understand how he manages this farm, let's get to meet his mother, understand his childhood, and how he harnessed this farming dream.
My name is Margaret. I'm Samuel's mother. He was delivered via a cesarean section.
Mrs. Margaret Aqua explains her expectations when she discovered she was pregnant with a child.
When I recovered from the operation, I heard a shrill cry, which indicates that the baby has a problem.
At age 18, Mrs. Aqua realized her son's love for poultry, so she helped him start a farm.
They have school farm where they have bears, so I think he developed interest there. So anytime he's watching television, he will tell me, "Mommy, come and see akuko, akuko, akuko." It's always akuko. Everything about him is akuko. So I started with some small bears, about 50 of them. And each time I go there, he was always there. And sometimes he'll be talking to them.
Prayer starts his farm routine. He feeds and checks on the chicks first.
Okay, so he's trying to tell me how he keeps records of everything that happens in this particular room. And on the door here is a record sheet that the times to put in water, mortality rate of the chicks, their weight and their feed quantity, all written up here. He tells me how they are going to eat the feed he has put in the bowls for the chicks to eat, and the water. He's pretty much excited about how the chicks are growing.
He continues to the other pens to check on the older ones. And collects the eggs that have been laid. About 80% of his poultry beds are layers. Sammy has employed people who helps him in his farm. Sammy's goal is to expand his farm, increase the beds, and employ more people.
He was trying to say that he wants to expand the farm so that he'll get more bears and more eggs. And he says he'll use some of the money to buy feed for the bears and the rest for his upkeep.
From revenue from his first farm, Sammy has been able to put up this structure where he sells the egg and does business. His mother is very proud of him.
I would advise parents out there who have children with cerebral palsy, it's not that all is not lost. They still have some potentials that when you stimulate them, it will come out. Let's support them.
My name is Prince Apia, reporting.
That was a full chain there telling a very much impressive story about the gentleman who lives with cerebral palsy venturing into the poultry sector. Very much of a motivation out there to many of us. But away from that, today is International Project Management Day, and it is observed each and every year on the first Thursday in November. IPM Day was created to recognize the hard work, dedication, and often unappreciated efforts of the over 17 million project managers who ensure successful delivery of projects and services worldwide. Now, in its 17th year, with the theme Powering the Project Economy, the role of the professional project manager, the day will be marked with activities all over the world, including online conference with over 35,000 people expected to be part of this particular conference. They will come together to learn, share ideas and challenges, and promote project management best practices. To this end, we're joined by Jumoke Lafenua, the president of the PMI Ghana, and Frank Owusu-Samoa, the vice president membership of PMI Ghana. We're so grateful that both of you joined us today. You know, it's your day, so we could imagine, you know, all of you adorned in these attire. But first of all, help us understand, for those of us watching, who exactly is a project manager? What exactly is also project management? Any of you could take it up.
Okay, so project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools to all the project activities to ensure that the project success is achieved. And so who a project manager is an individual or any person that is responsible for ensuring that the success of project is achieved. And this is enhanced when you receive training, because that's when you acquire knowledge, and then you'll be able to increase the probability of your project success.
So tell us about the Institute, for those watching interested to know whether or not there is existence of this Management Institute.
Right. Project Management Institute, that's PMI. It's an international organization headquartered in the USA, and it has about 302 chapters globally, and the Ghana chapter is the third largest in Africa after South Africa and Nigeria.
So who qualifies to be a member?
Right. Every individual who sees project management as his or her profession or something that he or she uses as a skill in everyday activities qualifies to be a member. And because PMI actually provides two essential services, that is certification and membership. So to be a member, you can be a member without necessarily being certified. And PMI has over 9 certifications that each one or each member can go in for any of them.
All right, Madam President, today is International Project Management Day. Of course, help us understand the clear appreciation of this day and why we should always commemorate it.
It's a day set apart, I think in 2004, so this is the 17th year, to recognize individuals that ordinarily would have been ignored, not appreciated for their hard work in ensuring that project success is achieved. You know, projects is actually made up of 5 process groups: initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closing. And so it takes some individuals to be able to carry out these activities. And like Frank rightly said, PMI is actually the largest project management body worldwide. And we have over 1 million membership. And the local chapters mean we are represented in over 300 countries worldwide. In Africa, we have 19 chapters, and Ghana happens to be one of them. And so what we do is to sensitize people to understand that we are all project managers. There are actually 2 groups of project managers. One group, those that know that they are project managers, and then they equip themselves. They get the necessary knowledge and training. And so the probability of the success of their project is increased. And those that are not aware that they are project managers and they are not acquiring necessary skills and knowledge. So what we try to do is to preach the gospel according to project management to individuals, private institutions, government institutions, so that we would experience more successful projects. But we cut down on money wasted on projects that are not successful, and then
and you feel this is much more of a fledgling, trend where we're having so much of projects especially within the government sphere, be it, over bloated. We keep hearing these investigative pieces and whatnot. But beyond that, what has been the partnership with government in ensuring the successful flow and completion of projects?
Okay, so what we are currently doing, I think one of our flagship now is going into partnership with GIMPA to identify the 50 most influential projects in Ghana since independence to 2019. So we are in the process of receiving projects in all the 16 regions, and then we would conduct impact assessment, and then the project sponsors will be able to have access to these documents to help in future projects.
Great.
And then as we go along, we intend to be carrying research so that there will be data for decision taking.
Sure.
We are working towards...
If we could shift the last 30 minutes to him, for him to make his final thoughts regarding the partnerships with government in 30 seconds, please.
Right. Just as Jimmy rightly said, the partnership with GIMPA is going to be a repository of information, data that investors would go into and look at how projects are able to impact the lives of Ghanaians and those of the entire nation. So we're doing that, and we are also in talks with government already. So we could do same, have some partnerships that could bring project management, have lots of success to the national level.
We're so grateful that you both joined us, and we shall keep the conversation going regarding this particular day when we're celebrating project management and the practitioners in that particular space. You're still watching The Marketplace with me, Charles Ayete. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. Flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has promised far-reaching reforms to create a good business operating environment for entrepreneurs. Now, he hopes to implement the Big Push agenda if elected into office. This will see the establishment of the needed social and economic infrastructure for local businesses to flourish. Mr. Mahama made this known when he engaged young business leaders and entrepreneurs in Accra.
Investment through the Big Push. And so that's why we say if we are investing 10 billion, it's going into social and economic infrastructure. Economic infrastructure includes industrial parks where people can come and set up and produce easily without the kind of hassle that we have to go through. Everybody has problems with our revenue agencies, SNETs and others, and sometimes they come at the worst time. When you are in a bubble and things are not going well, that's when they knock on the door and say this, and sometimes it's a bit unreasonable. I mean, somebody hasn't worked for ages, and he says you owe on this, we're going to take you to court and all that. And sometimes it just ends the business. I mean, they take you to court, they go find you some outrageous sum, and you just throw your hands in the air and, you give up. But that all has to do with the business operating environment, that we make the business operating environment so good that people are able to not only thrive, but to grow their...
Flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, ending this edition of The Marketplace. I'm Charles Ayete.